Welcome back. My next guest is Nestor J. Aparicio here in 1570 AM WNST. Nestor, welcome in.
Dennis, how are you? Rough week
Yeah,
in the Purple Kingdom here this week.
very rough week. Just a very sad day for the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah. I the Goose thing in the afternoon. Luke and I were getting the rumors. The internet had some rumors. I do what I would do in any case. If somebody called me and said something happened to Dennis, I called Dennis and say, "Are you okay?" Right? I mean,
Yep.
it's the first thing you do. And Goose wasn't always like the first guy to get back to you when you text him, but he always got back to me relatively quickly. And I thought, well, it's June. He's fishing. That's what he does. He's out on a boat somewhere like you. And he'll get back to me later in the day. And obviously that didn't happen. So I think we're still trying to piece it all together. Obviously, the tragedy with Jalen Ferguson early in the morning affects the current football team, affects every player on the team. Young parent, 3 children, all as awful as that is. And I don't know Jalen Ferguson that well. Met him a couple of times the first 2 years, and I famously haven't talked to a football player in 2.5 years. So, but Goose was a whole different thing. Goose came in. I found stuff from 1997. He had actually called Bob Eller booked him onto my show at the barn. I actually found the pictures of the night that we welcomed him out to the barn. We had signs that said Nasty Nestor Live, Tony Siragusa, and Ted Marchabroda at the barn. You can see the pictures,
Yeah.
So, I started going.
I've been following your Twitter feed. You were on it right away with tributes to Tony. Very, very good stuff.
Well, this is one of my favorites here. This was the night that Jim Harbaugh, I have to get up on the screen. Jim Harbaugh came out with Stephon Moore. And we had a packed house in a place, and there's Jim Harbaugh laughing at Tony. And actually that night we went to see Hootie and the Blowfish play at the Bayou in DC. I wrote about it in Purple Rain 1. Dennis, the weirdest thing is I'm re-releasing Purple Rain 1. And I did this sort of in conjunction with my vacation last week. As a one-man act, I take a week off here and again. We try to put good stuff on the radio, good stuff out on the web when I can get away for a couple of days. And part of it was sort of going through old stuff and finding stuff. And the Purple Rain era and me going to the event a month ago and taking that picture, in front of the confetti and hearing their stories for 2.5 hours. And I didn't really Goose is the only one I interacted with. I interacted with Jack very briefly at the end. Marvin and I didn't even say hello. Marvin golfed all day. We texted all day. We never caught up. Yeah. We never saw each other at the venue. We never saw each other. And same thing with Brian. Brian's my business partner. And I texted with Brian right away on Wednesday. But all of these memories and the fact that I'm re-releasing Purple Rain 1, and I literally was looking at pictures of Goose on Monday and Tuesday night to put them into chapters like the greatest defense in the history of the game, right? So you find these pictures, you find these memories, and then Wednesday happens, and half the people in my book are reaching to me to get confirmation. It's an amazing thing in my life, this glue that 20 years later, that championship, the ring, the memories, all the shows, that part of my life. I'm really privileged. I'm really, really privileged to have known these people and to be going through all these pictures I found a picture of me and Tony Linhart. I just want to put that up from the last day at Memorial Stadium. I've been looking for this picture since Tony died because I'm friends with his son, Burnt, and other folks. So just finding all of these old memories. Here is Goose. So if you read Purple Rain 1, Brian Billick came out to the barn, and there was a guy named Yusef Scott who ran like a 5.7 40, which is outrageously slow, right? And I said I can run a 5.7 40, and Billick challenged me to run a 5.7 40 in Westminster. And I actually ran the race. And you want to know who the timekeeper was? There he is. You see the timekeeper?
I do.
Goose is the one who was holding the clock.
That's funny.
There's Jeff Mitchell next to him.
So what did you run?
I ran well under 5.7. Billick made me run it 3 times. He was goofing with me. And Tom Cap was coaching me. But this was a training camp of the first training camp. This was when Billick's first training camp. No, it was the year they drafted Mulatalo, whatever year that was. So it was 99. It was the first training camp. because Mulatalo was a teammate of Yusef Scott, and we always had fun about that, about how slow his 40 time was out of Arizona. They were line mates at Arizona, and I swore I could run a 5.7 40, and Billick made me go do it. And there's timekeeper at the bell, a little wrestling. Tony Siragusa. He was the timekeeper. So
big number 98.
Yeah, I'm finding these pictures, and I can't help but I found a picture of me and Steve Sable together at the Ed Block Award. Just pictures that I don't even. These are the seats that Chad Steele threw me out of. There I am in the front row, in my PSLs. These are the seats that I'm no longer allowed to sit in.
That'll teach you.
That'll teach me for being there at the beginning. Damn me. So here's a picture of me and Stevan Moore. It's a little. It's me, Stevan Moore, Goose, and Jim Harbaugh. Jim looks a little fat in there. I don't know. It doesn't look right. I
think it's a picture. It
was a shirt. It was. He had to have it tucked into his Wranglers the right way.
Captain America, he was never fat. He was always in shape.
Did he do Hagar or Wrangler? Did I get the wrong brand?
I don't know. Probably Wrangler.
I
think it was a Wrangler guy.
So
he's still wearing those today, by the way.
Here's Goose and I in an argument as usual on the barn set. Stevan Moore's laughing at us. Jim Harbaugh's pretending like he doesn't know Goose from Indianapolis at all.
That's funny.
I found these pictures 10 minutes ago. I've been pulling through them before I come on with you, and I'm crushed. I don't know what to say without crying, to be honest with you. I just can't believe that I'm not going to see him again.
Yeah, for me, I remember where I was and what I was doing when I got news of Lenny Bias's untimely death. So Wednesday, of course, we get news about Jalen Ferguson, and then later in the day, one of my guys says, "Hey, the Goose died." I'm like, "What?" He said, "Tony Siragusa is dead." So this is another death that I'll remember always, Nestor. It's not many of them in terms of where I was and what I was doing when I heard about his passing.
You know what's crazy is I go through these pictures, and I was looking last week for more pictures of me and Mike Beatty, Batman from Ocean City. Batman and I were very close all of our, the last 35 years. And I wind up finding these pictures of Batman sitting with me at the barn on my anniversary show. He was about to play. So these pictures, they're like gold, right? I mean, they're like all you got in the end, right? And you got the memories. In my cases, I have the voices. We've been playing Tony Siragusa all day. We're going to play it before your show, after your show. If you're tuning in, I have about 12 hours that I found of Goose and I goofing around, horsing around, screwing around, laughing around, joking around, clowning around.
Hey, Ness, what does this do now for the ESPN 30 for 30, right? Chuck Evans from that team has passed on. Now Tony Siragusa is no longer with us.
The first picture I found of Goose is me, him, and Chuck together.
That's crazy.
That's the first one I saw yesterday afternoon when I put Tony Siragusa into a search. Picture of me, him, and Chuck Evans popped up. We've lost Milt Reynolds, some other people, obviously David and Art, from that group.
Yeah.
And it just puts it into perspective that it feels like 5 minutes ago that I was in Tampa and on the phone with my mom after the game. It feels like 5 minutes ago that I rode in that parade with Mike Flynn, even though he lost the damn tape for 19 years, but he did find it. Goose is all over that video, right? Like up on the stage in the Mickey Mouse shirt with his daughter.
Sure he is.
So I told this story to Luke earlier in our segment. So I'm at the event down at the Meyerhoff a month ago, and I had no special privilege, right? There was no backstage passes. There's no media access. It was an ESPN thing. ESPN paid all the guys on stage to come in, tell their story on the microphone. Shannon Sharp said he spent 6 hours with Goose. And I know they all kind of got together around 4 or 5 o'clock because Marvin was golfing during the day. I was supposed to get together with Marvin. We didn't get together, but I got to the event early enough to mill around. And it was a beautiful night. I mean, just so many fans, people coming up, talking to me. Hey, I read Purple Rain. I was with you in Tampa. I was on your bus trip here. I remember the barn night. It just all across. It was like a wedding night. But before the event began, they had a VIP thing upstairs, and I went up. I wasn't invited. I wasn't beyond the rope. I was where the fans were. And Jay was Goose's best friend at the barn. Jay sees me, sees my wife. How you doing? Good to see you. Hadn't seen my wife since my wife survived twice. It's been a little while. And Goose came down, and Goose says, "Hey, what's good?" Goose gives me a hug, says hello, goes his way, and then, "You see my kids?" I'm like, dude, your last time I saw your kids, they were this big. He's like, hey, that's my son, that's my daughter. Hey, get over here. And I met Anthony, and it was like I just started. It was like meeting a little Goose. He's
Right.
23, 4, 5, 6, something. I don't know. I mean, he's old, and I'm looking at him, and I'm looking at his daughter's beautiful. I mean, last time I saw her, she was 4 years old, right? So add 4 plus 21, she's
Yep.
25, right?
Yep.
And I met his kids a month ago, and I thought, man, that's something, right? And they were the first ones I thought of. And they were
Sure.
the first ones I thought of when the rumor was out on Twitter. Luke and I chatted briefly around 2:00. I mean, I came out of a dentist appointment and it was on my Facebook, but it was a not credible source. And Luke and I talked, and I said, if he's alive, his kids have got to be on Twitter, his friends, somebody's going to be putting up that he's okay, if he's okay, and soon. Because, like, if it's gotten to me, it's gotten to other people that there's this rumor floating. And I guess that's the darkest part of the internet in the modern era, right? Is you spend that hour sort of saying no. We did that with Johnny Unitas on the air here. I had a hot tip. Johnny had died. I had a listener whose wife was in the emergency room when he came in. He called me, and he was a real listener. And he's like, my wife just saw Johnny Unitas die. He's dead now. You can report it. And I'm like, I cannot report this. This is 21 years ago. And I had to get confirmation. And you want to hear the weirdest part? Johnny's best friend was Richard Samus, who we've also lost.
Oh, yeah.
Town and Country.
Mr. Nobody.
Mr. Nobody, Town and Country, Nissan
Mr.
Pontiac. My friend
Nobody,
Richard
yeah.
Samus. Beautiful man. And lost his daughter to leukemia. And Steve DeCastro, every year, their fundraiser at Ruth's Chris was for Richard's daughter. And Richard was Johnny's best friend in the world. And I called Richard. And Richard's like, Nestor, Johnny was just here 30 minutes ago. He just left my lot. He's fine. Okay. So this is me trying to confirm a death in real time on the radio as a reporter 21 years ago. In the modern era, you call him, you start calling people and trying to confirm something you don't want to confirm, right. Something that's an internet rumor where everybody was reaching to me. My phone was blowing up with his teammates asking me what I knew. And it's a beautiful thing that I'm respected in that way, but trying to confirm it, something you don't want to confirm at 2:00 on a Thursday afternoon or Wednesday afternoon, it's just not, it's a really tough part of our business, and the emotions and the relationship part of it. And then the next thing you know, Marvin and Brian are texting me, and people are texting me, and it's just a tragedy. He's 55 years old, and his children were beautiful, and man, he lived a good life. I mean, I'll just say that Goose lived all the way.
Well, Jimmy Irsay said that, and I'm sure he was referencing ancient Greeks when he said it. He said when somebody would pass away, they would ask a question: did he live with passion? And there's no doubt about it that Tony Siragusa lived with passion.
Oh my God, yeah.
I mean, he blazed through life. He really did. He was one of a kind. And
I had a last dinner with him. We had a dinner right before the plague 2.5 years ago when they put Billick in the Ring of Honor, and I went out all night with those guys. Me and Jack Del Rio, 3 a.m. coming back. I mean, it was an all-nighter. Lionel Dalton, Kim Herring. There's pictures. Yeah, Big Keith Washington, Lionel Dalton, a bunch of people from that team. And we sat at Ruth's Chris and had like a big sloppy meal together in the little room down there at the Pier 5 2.5 years ago. And I know I have pictures of it because I probably just took them, but it was a private thing. It wasn't something I was putting up at 10:00 on a Friday or Saturday night. But I'm going back, just trying to, the picture's all you have, right? I have a lot of words, a lot of memories, a lot of stuff we're going to put on the radio the next couple of days, but it feels like the pictures become gold when you find them.
Well, pictures are worth 1,000 words, aren't they, Nestor? And I'm glad that you have them. I'm glad you're sharing all this stuff on your Twitter feed and on WNST in Baltimore.
Rod Stewart said every picture tells a story, right?
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, and for the Ravens with Jalen Ferguson in the current situation, I mean, we've talked a lot about Goose. Young man lost his life. It looks to be relatively nefarious of his own doing, and his children, his wife, his teammates, his loved ones, family. I didn't know Jalen Ferguson that well, and we always talk about these guys in terms of football player. Goose died at 55, and it's a tragedy, and lived this incredibly larger than life. And then you think about a 26-year-old just getting his life going, and his children, and opportunity, and lost weight, trying to make the team, trying to better himself, and to have something off the field, straight down in life.
Cut short, for
yeah,
sure.
Yeah. I mean, decisions. So, anytime we lose people, we ponder. You know, I held up this beautiful picture of me and Mike Beatty, lost Mike. I can't believe I'm going to the beach and he's not going to be there. He's never not been there.
Right.
I don't think I've ever been to Ocean City and not had a beer with Mike Beatty, ever in my life. I'm there 10 minutes. He's the guy I call. He makes time for me. That's how much he loved me, right? He always made time for me. Goose, call Goose. Goose calls me back. You know, we BS'd around. We kidded around a lot on the air, but he reached me when my wife got cancer. How about that?
Yeah. Well,
So,
that's what endures.
friendships.
That's what endures. That's
man.
The memorable part. Nestor, I know it's a difficult day for you. I appreciate your time, your thoughts, and your comments.
Going through a lot of pictures, Dennis, a lot of memories. Purple Rain 1's up. The Crab Cake Tour comes back next week to State Fair on Thursday. We will be at Costas 2 weeks from Thursday, and big thanks to all the sponsors, including you. And I can't say too much. I've said it. I did a whole segment with Luke. At this point, I would just tell people, go out and listen to the memories. That's the best I can do.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you. Stay well. There he goes. Nestor J. Aparicio here, 1570 AM, Baltimore Positive. We'll take a quick break and come back right after this.